Because even when Charles Barkley was coming up, he was talking about how Moses Malone and Dr. J took him under his wing. Mm-hmm. They was like, okay, first thing you need is a suit. Because when you walk around there in this tracksuit all the time, you need an actual suit and be presentable to people. You need to take care of your money. And you need to... They were just basically giving him life lessons. It was more than just basketball. So it was like, come on. You this is a job. You here to live your life. You ain't just here to play basketball. So with other players, it's just like, okay, I play ball and I got a bunch of money. Like, I don't need to... This reality is not the same as your reality. So I get to do whatever the hell I want to do. That's how a lot of people look like they take it when they get to the league.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fanatic Islanders, your home for sports and sports entertainment. And today, it's another episode. And we have Macario. We got Prince.
Not Kadeem.
We don't do that joke anymore. We don't do that joke. It don't, like I say, it don't make sense.
It don't hit no more.
It don't hit. It don't.
What? No, man, we rolling, bro. We rolling.
It don't hit. It don't hit the same. It don't hit the same.
It's Kadeem. He's a good dude.
Yeah, like you can't miss someone who's never there. But
yikes.
And this is why we don't do it, because then it's be like this for a second.
It's be like 5 minutes for real.
But on to other things. How y'all been? Kadeem sends his apologies. Kadeem's World is doing extremely well. If you have not caught an episode of Kadeem's World, I implore you to do so.
Yeah.
But how y'all been? What's up? What's new? Flag football season actually begins March 12th.
Oh.
Preseason is March 5th. If you're in the Bahamas, Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. This is I guess is a free plug, but Bahamas Flag Football League, hit us up. Come back to us. We may have some teams on in the future. Stay tuned for that. But how y'all been?
Been good, man. Finally back in the gym. Feels weird because I actually get sore now. So I feel like a regular human being. And apparently they put a regular knee, like a regular ACL in my knee. So I've been nerfed.
Oh. Yeah. You don't have elasto ACL anymore?
I don't have the ACL that I was deadlifting with before the injury. So
sorry.
It's going to be interesting. I might actually have to lose weight.
If you do, let me know, because I need to get better. Like, I need to get like I need to become a better player. So because I need to become a better player. Right? I need to become a better player. I am not satisfied as the football player that I am now. So anything I can do to get better, I'm all for. Like, I haven't messaged you because I haven't gotten back to the gym just because time's allowed. I'm not waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry, I'm not waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But how's your day been? What you talking about?
My day's great, man. I mean, mostly tired. Let's get back to what you talking about.
All right, so just my goal, right? You don't want to settle. So I need to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I need to be a better person, better player this year than I was last year. Last year we won the championship, so my bar is already all right. I have to get back there. I wasn't impressed with y'all saw the game. I wasn't impressed with my play in the game, even though people said I did good. I felt like I left some plays on the field.
I'm gonna tell you that, man.
I'm a hard critic. Huh?
Yeah. Anyway, was just SWOT analysis of yourself. Like your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Like, what do you think is where you lack? Because I mean, you can't get better if you don't identify what you need to get better.
I feel like I'm a mid player. I feel like I can be better in coverage. I feel like I'm a decent run defender. I can identify coverages, but obviously I need to get faster. I think I need to lose a little bit of weight. My strength is decent enough that I can handle myself at the position, whereas I can handle offensive linemen who's trying to block me, as well as be stronger against receivers, tight ends who are coming out on the routes. So better pass coverage and probably better pass coverage.
So essentially, you looking to improve your speed and you change the direction.
It's kind of good, I think.
What about the plyo?
Yeah, I could always jump higher. We can get to that. But so flag football segment is coming up. But I got a random sports fact.
Okay.
Random sports facts.
So, as you know, since season 2 was stopped, we've been doing a lot of sports facts, and we're getting to a lot of them. Some of them aren't as interesting, but we've got to say there have been some unique and hilarious professional baseball team names in the past. We've had the Boston Bean Eaters.
Excuse me?
We've had the Boston Bean Eaters. We've had the
Wow.
we've had the Washington Blue Legs.
Okay.
Blue Legs, Red Sox.
That ain't as bad as Bean Eaters. Cause like, what you talking about?
Oh, wait for it. We've had the Cleveland Spiders. And then, the most...
Only Cleveland would name a team that
Have
way.
you seen
Only
them,
Cleveland
the
would do that
mascot,
way.
No, but then we've had the most widely, uncreative name. This is like I said, baseball. So if we go to the other sports, then we probably have even...
Not the bots, though.
No. The most widely uncreative baseball team name. The
Baseball
Worcester Worcesters.
Like the sauce?
Worcester, Worcester, the city.
Let's watch this.
The Worcester.
Worcestershire.
The Worcester
The W
Worcesters.
sauce. The Worcester what? Worcesters?
Yeah, the Worcester Worcesters.
The Bahamians. That's crazy.
Wow.
Hey. I said we've had some unique names.
Even Washington football team better than that, bro.
Like I said, we've
To
had
be
some
fair,
unique names. Like,
Washington football team is still better than Washington Commanders. So
yeah,
Yeah.
Washington football team, like it got
got a
yeah, it got that.
It got personality.
Yeah, it does. That's the word. Yeah, it's personality. It's like
Yeah.
it's like it's like Washington football team is like, okay, yeah, right. Commanders starting to grow on me. Like it's starting to grow on me, but it's starting to grow on me.
Like, what you talking about by Commanders, though? Like, what you mean? What are you talking about?
So, like, I understand the theming of it. Being Washington, White House.
We talking about
Commanders.
George?
So
talking about Jones.
it's like you got that army theme, right? Honestly and truly, I feel like they do need an army colored uniform.
That actually would be crazy.
Because like I think that's what they were trying to do with the black, but like a camo colored uniform with the black helmet. I feel like like I said, there's potential there. So like I said, it's starting to grow on me. Like I could see what they're trying to do. Right? They could do the black on white, white on black, red on black. I feel like the uniform combinations that they've did that first season that they were in isn't they could have done better. So I feel like that's what's lacking, because like you have that name, but then your uniform, only the black uniforms match that name.
Yeah.
So like the red and white, you're still thinking of football team. You're still thinking about the
Exactly.
Redskins. So it's like, give me the Commanders. Okay.
You got to give me a full revamp if you're calling yourself the Commanders.
Yeah, like I said, so like when I think of Commanders, I'm like, okay, well, cami, black, great. That seemed like,
The smoky gray.
yeah, the gray the Buccaneers have and stuff like that. So it's like, give me those colors. Give me that orange. But I guess it's time will tell. Time will tell. Like I don't have the Worcester's logo. I'll look for it. See if I can flash it across the screen right now. But just hey, they couldn't think of a
Show
name.
that in black
Can you
and
say
white,
that like
bro.
3 times
Hey,
fast?
show it.
Worcesters.
It's New York, eh?
Yeah, the New Yorks. The New Yorks. Come on, bro.
I know who that is.
Come on.
Isn't that like a dance group?
Yeah,
Anyway, that's
Hey, so good they named the city twice.
But
But on to that was your sports, your random sports fact. It's a sports fact. We'll dub it a sports fact. Sports rant. And I was trying to think of something else, but I settled with what I guess we talked about before air. Because it makes sense leaning into what the inevitable topic is. And Ja Morant has to get it together. Right? Like Ja Morant, like we talked about it. When was that we talked about it?
like almost every day.
No, was that last week? That was last episode. We talked about like there are some players who have like superstar potential. And like, you know, I think it was last episode. Yeah, it was last episode.
What was the topic?
Potential.
What was the topic?
So was it superstar potential or like the stardom, like the branding sort of thing?
No, it was like potential as in potential to be one of those like top 5 those players. I think we talked about it. Yeah, we did talk about it. That was last.
Oh yeah.
That was last.
When we talking about owners.
Yeah, we talked about it. So, he has to get it together. I mean, yes, he is a young kid, but like at some point you have to figure out, okay, you in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may not have been on your own for a long period of time, but you have to kind of know how to conduct yourself, know how to know what to do. You can't just be like, okay, well, I've never had this before. Let me go and do this and let me go and act out.
Yeah.
Like, he's acting out, and he seems like the kind of person who was a homeboy. I can see him wearing glasses behind a computer screen, playing Tetris on his computer.
It's like I got the locks, I got the tattoos.
Yeah, it's like he's trying
to fit the stereotype.
I got a while out now.
I have to fit the stereotype now.
Yeah, it's not like he's trying. Yeah, it's like he's trying to project himself to being something that he isn't. Just you know, the news. I guess at this point he'll be back, but he's away from the team. The team suspended him like 2 games or something like that. For what seemed to be like him flashing a gun on IG Live when it seemed like he had a gun in a nightclub and whatnot. And this is after, you know, the long week he's had with he beat up the 17-year-old on the basketball court during the off season, and he flashed a gun at him again. So it's like,
And mall security.
yeah, mall security. So it's like, yeah, you are a good player. You are on like the boredom of stardom, but you also need to know what it is that you're trying to do, right? You can't be that fake. You can't project that image as in, okay, well, yeah, I'm a thug. That's fine, you could do it, but it's like you have to carry yourself better. You are in national spotlight now. You do have kids looking up to you.
And he has kids of his own.
Yeah, and you have kids of your own. So it's like,
Oh, a daughter.
yeah. But it's like, you are not an adult because he's 23, 24, however old he is. But it's like, and that's like still young. That's.
You just need better decision making, man.
Better decision making, better mentoring.
It's confusing. It's like, and you've seen dudes from like across multiple sports. Like I think even as recently as today or yesterday, like AJ Brown was on one podcast and they asked him about Ja. He's like, Ja needs to get it together, like just straight up. Because you in a position where the people who we are seeing or we assume he's trying to portray or project himself to be like would give everything they have away to be in that position, and like you here possibly jeopardizing that to end up in that lifestyle that we don't know if you're really about. And like, I'm not claiming to be about it. Like, I ain't saying none of that.
And in Memphis, bro, like
in Memphis,
like you in LA, you in
like
you in New York.
People in Memphis don't play, boy.
You in Memphis, boy.
They don't. So like, you gotta guard your future more than anything else, man. Like, it's sad. And then it's also sad, personal bias, because if he's only 23, that means he was born in the 90s, and you can't make the 90s look bad, my guy. Come on.
I also feel like it almost looks as if he wants the best of both worlds. He wants to be the gangster, and he wants to be, I am the best basketball player. So with that, I can do what I want, in a way, which isn't realistic.
Trying to strike that AI balance.
I guess, but it's like that's not even what AI was trying to do.
And I understand why. I understand it. I think like sitting down and thinking about it, you could like not reason, but you could
see why.
You could see why some couple of these guys are doing it this way, because they feel like they've missed out on that, you know, the rebellious stage of their life. So a lot of times when things like this happen, it's like, you know, they're living through that rebellious stage. So it's like, yeah, I was drafted early,
bang,
and you know, I just got like thrown out there. So it was like, you know, I didn't get to be that bad boy. I didn't get to be that
exactly. At 23, I ain't get to make no mistakes. You serious?
Like straight from high school, straight into college. Like it's just like literally ball is life. So
yeah,
I mean, not to, you know, throw out excuses.
Yeah. I mean, we ain't trying to condone this.
It's kind of.
I just try to understand where his mind.
Yeah, the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
Which is strange because it's not like. Because you see his family there, like his
dad. He has a good family.
His dad is always courtside, and like
he
to
comes
see these
from a
things
good
going
home.
on.
Yeah,
it's like he seems like he's a good dude. Like his people are good people. Like even when Shannon Sharp was about to break all of them up, like like his dad was still like, hey, like uncle, like we good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
like,
cool. Yeah,
you could see like there's respect and deference there. I would assume in the home. So like, I don't know, man.
You gotta show a little bit, man, as well. He said, man, I get the dunk of these people there like this. I gotta show it in another way.
Yeah, and it's like there's ways to do it. There's ways around it. So I mean, I just felt like that we had to rant about that, because like I said, it tied into. Excuse me, it tied into like the main episode where we're gonna talk about main topic, which is what player, coach, and a mentor.
Yeah.
So, you are in spotlight, and, people nowadays mentors nowadays, there aren't people who are going to go out, I'll say, and say, hey, I'm going to help you. A lot of guys are like, okay, well,
True.
The first step is you need to come. Right, we've had that in the past. We've gone like it's always a cycle. So you have people who mention, "Hey, you need anything?" La la. But a lot of times, if you ask someone if they need help, they are not more inclined to like stay, or they're not more inclined to listen because you're reaching out to them, as opposed to someone asking, "Hey," a younger guy asking an older guy, "Hey, this happened. What can I do?" Or just asking for their input. Like they're more inclined because like they're reaching out, and not to talk too much about fly, but that's how I kind of do it. And so it's like I am a player as well as a coach. So I'm not a player coach. I'm a player as well as a coach. 2 different teams, but
You ain't trying to get Haslam.
yeah. But like sometimes in practices and games, I'd be like, hey, you got to do this, or hey, you need to be able to do this and whatnot, right? So I'm able to tell early on who is more inclined and who is generally just trying to get better, because I do have some guys message me on the side. I do have some guys asking, hey, how do I do this, or hey, what can I do about this? And yeah, I do reach out to some people, and like I said, the results varies. It differs because based on who, if I reached out or if they reached out to me, right? And especially like coaching women, like a lot of patience, and you want them to be where you are mentally, and it almost goes to the fact is, hey, you need to do this. But with women, no offense, but
you in deep water, bro.
No, it's just
Let's put some distance in between.
No,
I'm not associated with this.
No, it's just I'm not more. I'm inclined to like help. More inclined to help women, right? And especially like learning the sport, and I kind of do it in a way is, okay, we're doing this. The reason why we're doing this is because of this. If you have, and I always offer say, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. I can explain this better. So some players who may be struggling, it's like, all right, I want to reach out to them. Hey, how you doing? Whatnot, but I don't want to like push too much, because then you don't know their mindset. If they they're doing this hobby, if they actually genuine about the sport. And some do reach out and be like, hey, the thing you mentioned, like someone reached out to me today. They was like, okay, the defense that you mentioned on Thursday, can you send it to me? Can you explain this to me? And I was like, okay, that's good, because that's actually someone I wanted to like work with and like help out with it. And then, but you didn't know like where her mind was. And all right, if I tell you to do this, are you going to do this because you understand why, or are you doing this because I'm telling you to do it?
So it's the difference between like if you feel you have to reach out to a player or anybody else in general, like you giving them, it's the difference between giving instructions, and then if they ask you, you then get to explain the rationale behind it. So it's almost like teaching. the fish analogy isn't really adept here, but it's
Yeah,
kind of like
people get it. People get it.
Basically that.
like instead of just giving them the bait and tell them to throw the line here, like you
Yeah.
teach them the entire process as to how to set up, where
Yeah.
to set up, and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And you only have the time for that if they come of their own free will.
Exactly.
And it's easier that way too, because then it's like, okay, well, now they're thinking on the same page as me. Because like when I'm playing with the guys, I'm like, okay, all right, we going over this, and I'm directing people. I'm like, all right, you stand here. I don't have time to be like, okay, you're standing here because of this, because we're actually in game right now. It's like, hey, you stand, like literally stand right here, put your hand up, because sometimes you can see plays telegraphed.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to get them to the point that I want to get to the point that I don't have to tell them to stand there. They can just see what I see and like just adjust. But going on to like real people who actually make money off of this.
I mean, it's the same.
I think the concept is generally the same. Like if you have, and I think they talk about it in terms of like intangibles, because the NFL scouting combine is going on right now, and there's been a lot of talks of where a lot of players tend to increase their draft stock based off of the interviews. It's like the measurables are there, the tape is the tape.
Yeah.
The mental is completely different, especially like when they put the quarterbacks on like the whiteboard and you see like where their head is at, and then if they ask questions post an interview and you see on social media all these blogs like, hey, if you're trying to get a job, one of the top 10 things you do in the interview is make sure you ask a question afterwards. If they ask you have any questions, don't ever say no, because it shows that you're disinterested, like stuff like that. Like it goes back to your point where like showing interest kind of gets you that leg up.
Yeah. Unless you Deion Sanders. Just say it.
And like I think we talked about this too, because I guess a lot of our topics rolling back over is Derrick Rose reached out to Ja Morant and it's like, hey,
Plenty people are reaching out now.
no, but like I mean before.
Yeah.
Before, not in the actions per se, but like game wise. And I was like, they're similar players. They're highly explosive point guards. And, we saw Derrick Rose, unfortunate injuries. And he was, reached out to him, say, hey, when you're doing these things, you can do these things, but hey, you have to protect yourself. You can't just line on one knee, one leg. You have to learn how to fall. A lot of people know how to fall. So people do it.
And I guess the question now then becomes like, if we're going on to like mentoring and coaching to the point where if we use like the Ja example where Derrick Rose reached out to Ja, and I'm sure more people are reaching out to him now because of the situations that he's in. Like, at what point is it on the mentee to have to kind of put that onus on themselves to be like, hey, I have people reaching out to me. I need to do the reaching out so like I can get better, because there's only so much someone's gonna give you. So like if I have a donation to give somebody, and if I reach out to give you that donation, I'm gonna give you exactly what I had intended to say that right then and there.
Yeah.
But if you then tend to build that relationship, like there's a possibility that it it increases. You know what I mean?
See, the thing is, he already at the professional point, so the onus always is going to be on him. that's the sad reality of it. Like, you should be, at this point, nobody should have to tell you anything. But you should be grateful that somebody's even out there saying, hey, you should do it this way. And this is not just anybody, it's Derrick Rose, bro. He's won an MVP and all that stuff. So he has the credentials to talk to you in the way you need to be talked to so you can go on the right path. So I mean, for Ja, I feel like they also need somebody on the team. That team is young. That team is wilding every game. I don't know what's wrong with them. They need to stop tripping. I don't know how they feel like. I don't know if they think they're the bad boy Pistons or whatever, but I don't know how they feel like they can win a championship.
It could also be the coach. Like, you need people. You need someone to like rein you in.
Yeah.
Right. So a coach could do that too. But like going back to your point and say when it's on the mentee. Yes, people could reach out to him, but if he have to be willing to
accept it,
especially now like playing. Okay, you helping me how to improve my game. Yes, cool. I'll accept that. But you telling me how to live my life now is just like, what?
I mean, that's why I'm saying like with the players instead of the coach. I lived that life, so we can relate, I guess.
Yeah, but it's still like, wait. But the thing, no, I not even that. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Other like people around the league reaching out to him. So it was like,
yeah.
when that first
Oh,
happened,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, it's like when other people, reaching out, like current players, past players, just reaching out. He have to like listen to, like, if someone messaged him, he'd be like, okay, well, this the 7th person today. I ain't answering all these messages. I ain't, like, he have to be willing to accept it.
I agree.
But do you think they have, like, and I guess we could extend this to, like, cross sports, cross different teams, but do you think the Grizzlies specifically would, because I've seen like some random scuffles out of nowhere, dudes just being disrespectful with no deference.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that team in particular has like that player mentor? Like, everybody used to have at least that one old vet that used to be there, not to the extent of Udonis Haslem, that is completely different, but that one old vet that can be like, hey, I'm here, this is how we do things, this is how we conduct ourselves, and they can pull the guys on the side. They might not be the superstars that they once were, they may not be the best player on the team, but they have a role that's important enough and a voice is strong enough to be like, hey, I may not be the coach, but as of right now, y'all listening to me. This is that.
I'm not even sure.
I highly doubt it.
That team is very young. The team is very young. So even their most veteran player isn't too far from where Ja is.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yes, they don't have to have like years, but people age differently too. Some people are more mature and whatnot. But no, I don't think it is, and I feel like that should be a staple in any team building process. Like, you need strong mental players, and you need strong people to like rein in like players. Look at going into football, right? Look at the Eagles. Like I said, game wise and off the field wise is different, right? So like game wise, yes. Off the field wise, you need more like people to like rein it in. So game wise, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith helping each other out.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Jason Kelsey just being the standard.
Yeah. But it's like, you need people who know how to conduct themselves off the field to able to direct. Like, I look at Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, stand-up guy, right? Stand-up guy, probably one of the best. Like, just how he conducts himself, like, and then like just even like going back through, like backtracking after this year, like going back through and like looking how he conducted himself over the years. It's like, he's always been a strong person mentally. Like, he knows how to conduct himself. He knows, even like when he's asked certain questions, like, I know how to answer questions. And his dad was his coach for a long period of time, so it's like, yeah, so we know, like, you had like right mentors and you have like the right people in place in your life to help guide and direct you. And even so a lot of kids are gonna look up to him now, because it's like they see how he conducts himself, right? Yes, he's not the most outspoken person, but he knows how to carry on a conversation. He knows how to drive. He's a motivator. He's an action guy. He's like, okay, he's not a person who blames it. He's never blamed a ref. He's never blamed a player. He always takes it on himself. Okay, well, I gotta get better.
Yeah, so that goes more towards your mentality even after you are mentored at that point, eh? Because, like we say, Ja even grew up in a good family and stuff like that. So it's like, you just needed to be set. I don't know, like, you just needed to wear your style of mentoring, I guess. I have no idea. Because even when Charles Barkley was coming up, he was talking about how Moses Malone and Dr. J took him under his wing. They was like, okay, first thing you need is a suit, because when you walk around there in this tracksuit all the time, you need an actual suit and be presentable to people. You need to take care of your money, and you need to. They were just basically giving them life lessons. It was more than just basketball. So it was like, come on, you. This is a job. You here to live your life. You ain't just here to play basketball. So with other players, it's just like, okay, I play ball and I live, and I got a bunch of money. Like, I don't need to. This reality is not the same as your reality, so I get to do whatever the hell I want to do. That's how a lot of people look like they take it when they get to the league. Even with like Jalen Gatto. Even in the league yet.
Yeah,
so.
And it's interesting too, because I mean, if we go to the Jalen Carter situation, I know they're still kind of fleshing it out. the details of it in terms of him essentially racing
Makes
at
no
high
sense.
speeds, which kind of led to the death of a teammate and another person on the coaching staff for his school. And it's like you're surrounded by people who essentially want the best for you, but at those times, like, sometimes it's just a decision that you have to make.
Split second.
And I think it begs the question too, like, do we give people, or is it essential for people, and at this point men specifically, to have like that rebellious idiotic period? Because again, same high pressure situation, he's probably a 5-star 4-star prospect coming to high school, went straight into football, probably didn't redshirt. So he was playing college football at a high level from Jump Street, so that's been his life.
Yeah.
And it was like, I have this one chance, because he probably wasn't driving all the time, to do this. Someone challenged me to a race. This car is nice. When am I going to get to do this again? Because I could be playing football for the next 9 years. You know what I mean?
You ain't lying.
Like, and it's like, it's hard to put it into perspective without being in their shoes. And I think it goes back to Kadero's point. Like, not necessarily a player's coach, but you need those kind of glue guys in the locker room to kind of, guide you in the right direction. It's hard. It's a hard balance, and just go to teachers, bro. I respect y'all, especially these people born in 2000 and like, you know what 2000 and is? It's a compound sentence,
Yeah, bro.
for a birth date.
And they ain't afraid to tell you how they feel. And they could just say, "But I feel like this, so I gotta go do this."
Yeah,
These 2000 babies different.
These sets are different.
But going back to what you said about living your life when you're at this young age and when you ever do this again, it's a fine line, because you would have everybody even encouraging you to do that. Like when you at that age, they'd be like, "But you young, boy, live your life, take your time, go live your life." And then you take that in and be like,
This is wild out with
"Yeah,
that.
it's like, wait, I gotta." So you saying live your life, okay?
But
so
I meant live your life. But you saying live your life.
So
No,
what you
just live it.
saying is, I need to wild out.
Ain't no one saying.
But you know what they mean. They don't mean just be like. They
Yeah.
mean explore and live your life.
Explore, find out who you are, etc. etc.
Yeah.
Not
So limit testing.
no dying what they mean.
At that age, you think you bulletproof. Let's be real.
You got a limit test, bro.
You think you bulletproof.
I guess.
I know I do stupid stuff at that age, so that's all I can say. I feel like
That's-
you feel like you're bulletproof.
You got a limit test. If you don't
Like,
know where your
should
limit
I do
is,
this?
Probably not.
But I can try it.
Am I gonna get away with it?
Who knows? Who knows?
It's just the consequences, man. It's the consequences, and I think that's the hard part. I think that's where like good, like real mentorship and coaching really comes in.
Yeah.
Like just from the same thing like you were talking about in terms of like having the player stand here and put your hand up so you could see exactly what you're seeing on the field, and it goes back to the consequences of them understanding that, hey, if I don't stand where Coach Cadero decided to put me, then this is a 5-yard run. If I stand there, it's probably no gainer because the play comes directly to me.
Yeah.
And
Or 2 yard or whatever.
yeah, and it's the foresight. This man has a showering gun. It's the foresight.
Not.
It's the foresight that I think mentors and coaches have, and I guess that's why. I mean, there's a saying that good players don't always make good coaches, and the reason for that is good players were able to get by off of what they were able to do physically, whereas the players who weren't the best and became great coaches became that way because they had to find a way to compete with those who was just that
That's true.
athletically
Because
gifted.
like that's why you see a lot of like backup quarterbacks make better coaches because they're in the backup quarterback is and probably the most underrated position, most underrated important position in the
Basically
NFL.
a coach.
Yeah, because that person is there. All right, they're behind the quarterback. Okay, all right, this play didn't work. Why didn't this play work? And they're studying doing the play. Yeah, they may not play as much as they want to play, but they're studying while they're actually playing.
Exactly.
Whereas the player, the actual quarterback is like, okay, I did this, it didn't work. What could I do? The backup quarterback now has time to be like, okay, well, he could do this and he could do that. They're in the room. He's watching film and he's watching a quarterback who isn't him, which I think is more okay. I can study this person more. And those are the quarterbacks who usually run the scout team. As in, okay, now I need to study this other team's quarterback and kind of play like how he plays so my team can get better. So like I said, that's the most underrated position. That's why Kellen Moore is a good offensive coordinator. Decent, I guess. I don't know.
He's here we go.
No, but like, but then not the Cowboys connection, but it's just like I'm trying to remember like backup quarterbacks right now as I'm speaking, but it's like they're just blanking out.
And I mean, even the veteran,
there's quite a few of them.
Even the veterans who used to start,
QB, and they become like QB coaches.
Yeah, they mentors as well. So
yeah, like Ryan Fitzpatrick when he was like going from team to team, Flacco in a sense, because like you have the quarterbacks, they're listed as the number one backup quarterback, but whenever the quarterback goes down, they don't usually go in. The third string quarterback usually goes in. You do have good players who make good coaches, just like I said, how the foresight, like D'Amico Ryans, right? D'Amico Ryans was a good linebacker. I'd say great. He's a great linebacker. So.
He's also cerebral as a linebacker, though. And I guess it goes to the position in the sport and, like, what you have to do. Yeah. Because you would see, not to kind of pull it down, but how many centers have you seen make the transition into coaches versus...
Jeff Saturday.
Basketball. Basketball centers make the transition into coaches versus the guards who would have to, like, run the offense. You know what I mean?
What his name is? Oh, my gosh. His name.
Who's that? We play for
Kevin McHale. I mean, he was power forward.
Yeah, he's a power.
Yeah, but like it goes through like kind of like the people who kind of have to run the offense usually have offense, defense, like the single callers in football, the probably shortstops in baseball because you kind of have to be that intermediate.
Baseball funny.
Yeah, baseball funny.
Because the center fielder could almost call a lot of the shots as well.
A lot of positions interchangeable in baseball.
It's the flex. Yeah.
But like Steve Nash coaching. He's a cerebral player who's coaching. I mean, like you do have people. Tim Duncan was coaching for a bit.
Steve Nash.
See, it ain't Steve Nash fault though.
I give you Toronto.
It wasn't Steve Nash fault though. Yeah. Doc Rivers. Like
I give you Doc Rivers.
It wasn't Steve Nash's fault. It was just the people we had.
He had no experience with. Why did you put him in that position?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was too much.
Look at Jason Kidd. Right? Look at Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd throwing on the bus. All right, he got his feet wet.
He did tell the boy he drove off the order. When they had no more timeouts.
But like, I feel like those are the kind of coaches.
I agree.
Like you need now who can help like mentor these players, just not to like go too far away from the whole like mentoring aspect. Is like, hey, they've literally been in this position. Like you do have like, and that's how most leagues are. Well, not most leagues. That's how the NFL
tries.
That's how the NFL is now. I guess more often than not is like you have a lot of the coaches are former players. Whether they're players at the NFL level, whether they're players at the collegiate level, like they're former players. Sirianni, wide receiver in college. Brian Johnson, quarterback in college. It's just like they've been there, they've lived through it, and they're able to help like transition like towards it. Like you don't have like the whole. I mean, I guess it's funny because Andy Reid was a 13-year-old cute punter from the punting contest.
That boy was bigger than everybody else on the team. But I don't know why he's playing Bono.
But I guess I wouldn't say that's how they're going towards, but it's more evident now than in the past because like you do have coaches who were former players and whatnot, but it's like more evident now. It's like, okay, do you have any experience though? You played this,
exactly. Right? But I mean. I think you still need those coaches who have been like coaching, whether it be quarterbacks coach, wide receiver coach, or whatever. If they've been there for like 30 years,
yeah, of course,
they know what they're talking about. Like, especially with like Warren Sapp was talking about it before. Tony Dungy is one of them guys. He can get you on the right path, bro. Like, I think they were talking about the Henry Ruggs incident before and how Henry Ruggs ended up in that whole thing. Like, how you. He's like, bro, Tony Dungy literally tell him about 5 things. Speeding 15 miles per hour more over the speed limit. Having a gun or drugs or alcohol or having a woman that you know too well or you know too little about. That was his 5 things. And they saying Henry Ruggs must he had like either 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. So it's like, bro, if you even have one of those things, you probably gonna end up in problems. So I like how Tony Dungy just laid out for the guys and be like, yeah, this is your life lessons. Just avoid these things. And still, you still have the person who's like, even every draft, you always gonna have some situation to where somebody's stock falls or whatever. So it's like, I don't. You can lay it out, but I don't know how they're
gonna receive it.
Yeah.
Did they stop the whole like rookie school thing? Because remember, I think they used to.
I think they still have that. The rookie academy where they go to Hall of Fame and all that stuff.
Yeah, that. But like, you know, they teaching, like, you have players.
Oh, you mean like, well, John Gruden used to have the camps and stuff?
No, not that. But like, mentoring, in essence, they were mentoring like the people coming into the league, like the
yeah,
draftees.
I think they still have that.
I mean, if they don't have that in the NBA, they need to have that in the NBA.
I was about to say because we, as you spoke about the coaches and having like certain coaches of a certain age, and even the players that'll be there. Like, to say you bring in AJ Brown to help, you know, Devontae Smith grow, or you bring in like a Patrick Peterson to help like the young cornerback on the next side to get better. Yeah, like even Patrick Mahomes, like people forget, like Patrick Mahomes sat for what, 2, maybe 3 years behind Alex Mills.
He sat for 1.
Yeah, 1. Yeah.
It was just 1.
Was he the starter in the second season outright, or did he?
Yeah, because I think they traded him. Washington.
Alex Smith was there for like. Oh no, yeah, I got it boxed up. But yeah, like how you have situations where you would have a veteran in place to help guide the rookies, and like, is it hard when you're trying to balance the talent that you're getting so young, so fresh, and trying to mentor them? Like, how do you kind of bridge the gap? Not necessarily saying like, because dudes ball. So like, dudes are great.
Mahomes, I feel like Mahomes could have started his first year. I don't know, like, you know, Andy Reid has a method for it. So I guess same thing we talked about, being a backup quarterback for the entire year. So he was able to sit behind Alex Smith, watch defenses, and like, it's almost like you being he is redshirted, but you're put in that study mode for like that complete entire year. So a lot of players who have done that, like who've had redshirted their first year, we've seen how much they've bloomed in their second year.
Exactly.
Jalen Hurts sitting behind Carson Wentz. Yeah, he came in a few plays, like gadget plays and whatnot, but when he was able to go into the starting lineup year 2, it was like, okay, well, he's just a gadget quarterback. Okay, well, no, okay, he ain't a gadget quarterback. Now, year 3, it was like, oh yeah, 2 is a fluke. Year 3, we saw the jump into year 3, but a lot of teams are pressured now, drafting players so high, and that's the like pressure on these organizations we talked about 2 weeks ago with the owners. Everyone is pressured to succeed. So if I'm drafting a quarterback with number 1 through 15, I'm expecting him to come in
and just go.
Exactly. That don't make sense.
Because it's the same with basketball too. And I was thinking, like, in terms of like the mentorship side, because there's only so much a coach can do if the players don't have someone else to kind of reinforce. It's like there's only so much a teacher's gonna be able to tell you if the principal of the school you don't really care about, because you know that person has a report to someone else. There's only so much a coach can do if the team doesn't respect one, etc., etc. But if you have that player as an intermediary, and not to say curtail the minutes that the players play, but like, say if there was another veteran point guard that was there, spell minutes for Ja Morant to be there, like whispering in his ears for certain things, like, do you think he would still be in the same situation?
No, I feel like he'd be better off, because like Sean Livingston, Andre Miller, like when they were backup quarterback,
point guard.
When they were backup point guards, they helped like the young point guard who was actually there. So it's like they're learning from the coaches, but you're also learning from me. I've been in this position for X amount of years. I've been in this position for X and 5 years. So it's like not necessarily like the spell. It's just like, hey, there are other ways to do it, and then I guess what those point guards are kind of better off, because now they're able to see another style of play and they're actually able to implement those traits and those attributes into their personal game themselves, as well as on and off the field.
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like on the flip side, that's why you end up with so many busts. That's even like with Jamarcus Russell on the Raiders. Who was on the Raiders to guide this man? You barely even have talent on the Raiders to guide to make him better. So it's like you just put him there. It's like, you the first overall pick, go ball out. How? And even in basketball, but I don't even want to talk about Ben Simmons. But anyways, that's just a whole other story. Because you want a good team, but you just ain't got nobody. You feel like you by yourself, your mental health collapse somehow. So it's like, sway, you ain't even had nobody to address that.
And see, like Doc was there. I was like, bro, you could have.
Doc wasn't even taking his side at some point though. He just like pretty much gave up on him.
Like say at some point, it's like, wait, you have to be willing.
Yeah, you
have to be willing
to do
I
the work.
agree.
But then too, I mean, obviously we're not in that situation, but even to semi take Ben Simmons' side, like if you feel like you have work to do or you want to do something and there's no one except for the coach that you think is on your side, and then the coach turns on you, then what do you do? Because we've seen what happened, like in terms of the relationship between him and Embiid,
who
was quote unquote the star of the team, which means you technically don't have the support of the locker room if you don't have the support of the star.
No.
And then the coach turns on you. Then at some point, it's not necessarily you not wanting to do the work. Is where do you go to for help to do the work?
See, the thing is, right? Sports is a brotherhood, and not just the NBA, but.
In general.
Yeah, so you see a lot of teams like with the cities, the sport, the
community.
Yeah, so like there are other people who you can reach out to, even if it's not on your own team, right? I'm pretty sure it's easy to get the number of anyone in the NBA to, hey, what can I do about this? Or yeah, for the most part, or even in another league, because like you were in Philly. I'm sure you could have find Donovan McNabb's number, Michael Vick's number, because like Michael Vick, like what he been through, like he really could have like helped him out on some aspect. You have the Phillies, you have like, bro, it's so much avenues outside of like a basketball team is 15 players, coaches and whatnot. Let's say you up to 25, 30. I mean, okay, cool. Those 30 people don't. You have other people in your city. You have other people in the actual sport itself. It's like you have to be willing. Like I don't know if he was willing, but like I said, you have to be willing. It's like if you want help is there. I'll say that. Is how much 6 billion people in the world? 8 billion, however much it is like wait.
Someone's there. Yeah, someone's there.
But 30 teams in the NBA, 32 in the NFL, 30 in baseball. And you have other sports leagues, you have retired players, you have player coaches, you have coaches who were players. It's like there are avenues that you have to be somewhat willing. So yeah, I'm not mental. You gotta take care of your mental health. And yes, people who you thought had your back, like I said, it is a brotherhood. People who you thought had your back didn't have your back. Okay, where do you go from here?
Yeah, and I think him. Especially when he went to Brooklyn and it kind of stayed the same. That's when I mean, because I don't disagree with you. Yeah. When he went to Brooklyn and it kind of stayed the same, that's when it really set in for a lot of people because you in that environment, and if Philly is the toxic environment for you, even if you're reaching out for help, you're still in that environment. Like sometimes you just got to get out. You know what I mean? But when he went to Brooklyn and it kind of translated as
because I think when he went there, people were like, okay, Ben Simmons get a fresh start, go. Like basically that's what it. Because in Philly they was like, go. Okay, he don't want to go. So he in Brooklyn now. He needs to go. Especially you have Katie and Kyrie around you. Like you have no choice but to go, bro. Like we are not here to try to build some. We're not here to just try to build you up. We trying to get a championship. You are the second focus, not the primary focus. So
I feel like it'll be better now that they're not there. But I feel like they shut him down for the season, right? The rest of the...
I think he's the back.
I feel like they shut him down for the season. I feel like they shut him down for the season.
Probably did.
I don't see him being in Brooklyn after this year. So
is he in the league after this year? That's the question.
that's need to be seen. Like I feel like there are coaches out there who are going to potentially take him on as a project because, like I said, he is a physical specimen. He's a 6'11" player who can play point guard, who can guard 1 through 5. You just got to be able to get that out of him.
Do you feel like he turns his motor off on purpose? Do you feel like he could take on more mentoring if somebody even, like, how back to what you were saying, like, does he want to go to look for it?
He has to be willing. So like, that we'll know within that. So like he hasn't requested a trade. So he didn't request a trade from Philly. He didn't request a trade from Brooklyn, or he doesn't speak out. Like he addressed the whole not the passing up the open layup or passing up the open dunk or whatever, but it's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to get better?
Yeah, we need more than just that one play.
So how do you, if that's the case, like how do you deem the player, if like back to the whole mentoring coaching thing, how do you deem a player coachable?
I feel like anyone is coachable.
Ooh.
Right? I feel like no, that's the truth. That's the truth. And even going back to it, I feel like anyone is coachable. It's just you have to be able to you have to figure out how to reach them. The hardest part is, how do I reach this player?
Some players aren't reachable. Some players have to be broken, and that's the difference.
No, so that means they have to be broken, but that means they're still teachable. Like I did have some people in the past, like who hard headed and whatnot. But it's like you could reach out to them. You just got to figure out how to reach out to them, and that's the hardest part of being a coach. It's like, all right, Kadero's gonna ask me for help. Okay, player A is gonna I have to push player A a bit. Player B, they build up this wall. They've been on a few teams. They're not willing, but it's like there are ways around it. Like, do they want to play? Right? They have a drive to play the sport. If they didn't want to play the sport, they wouldn't have been here. So like, I feel like the reason why I said like I feel like everyone is coachable is just the fact is that how you reach out to them is gonna be different. Yes, it's gonna be, you have to put in extra work trying to teach them, but they're still coachable. It's just how do you reach out to them? That's the hardest part of it. That's the hardest part you're gonna figure out. So the hardest part about Ben right now is trying to figure out, how do I reach him? So is he willing? No. Okay. If I reach out to him, will he push back? Okay, no. Okay, so how do I reach out to him? So, and a lot of people give up too early and be like, okay, well, yeah, that's too much work. He ain't coachable, but did you give up because you couldn't find a way, or you give up because it's impossible? Like nothing. There are some things that are impossible, but I feel like from a coaching standpoint, reaching out to someone's standpoint, like anyone can be coached. You just have to figure out how to coach them.
I think another factor is, especially in the professional leagues, they ain't got much time.
Yeah.
They ain't got much time. So it's like, bro.
A tick and talk is a window.
Yeah, so it's like, at some point, as a player, you got to realize, bro, I got to lock in. Or either I going to another team, or I out the league.
That's why so many people leave the league so early.
Yeah, because it's like, boy, if you don't get it together, somebody coming right now to take your place, like literally getting drafted. Especially in basketball, you only got 15 players, like we said. So like, why are you wasting up time, wasting minutes? It don't make sense.
Any final words?
I mean, I feel like, especially the young guys, they need to understand that it is a job. You have your whole life to live. You have your family, your friends, and all that stuff. You gotta understand what you playing for and what you living for. At the end of the day, you in a professional league. Why are you trying not to be in it anymore? Like, what is the purpose of that? Like, just use hindsight, think about everything, and just weigh the pros and cons. That's what I feel.
That's actually perfect. I was gonna say something, but
there's nothing to say after this. But
this has been another episode of the Fanatic Islanders. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on any audio platform, hit us with a 5-star rating. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think. We have more content coming out. Stay tuned. hey, you've been here this long. Follow the page if you're not following it.
Might as well.
Right? Click the bell for notifications. Be notified when we drop the videos. You'll be pleased. Trust me. We're the light. We're the light. But until next time, y'all be safe. Y'all be easy.
Peace.